Today we're talking about You Won't Be Alone, a witch movie that I thoroughly enjoyed. More specifically, it's a movie about a couple of witches, one who is an assistant to a very old witch that was promised to this old witch when she was a little baby after she gets her tongue cut out. Her mother puts her in this little cave with a bunch of Jesus drawings all around to try and keep the old witch away from her, but of course that doesn't work, and our new witch apprentice learns about life and living through inhabiting people's corpses. That's the movie. I don't absolutely love this movie, but it is one that I would like to rewatch as soon as possible. It's quite an interesting film because the first act of this, I would say, is not great. The first act I didn't particularly care for. I think it takes too long to get into the interesting stuff. It takes too long to let me in on why I should care. The first 45 minutes is basically just following this witch apprentice-to-be in her little cave and then being an apprentice to the witch. And it didn't really grab me. She just kind of walks around in her little cave and does minor things, and her mother is overprotective, and then the witch is mean to her. As soon as she starts taking over people's corpses, it gets way more interesting, specifically in the last half. The last half, I think, is genuinely really good, if not great. When she starts taking over these people's corpses and starts learning about life through them, it gets so much more intriguing. There's way more it's questioning, there's way more that it has to say that I enjoyed, and she lives through these people's lives in very unique perspective, which I enjoyed. She inhabits like a handsome man, she inhabits this girl who's married, she inhabits this young 12-year-old girl who grows up, and she grows up, and through each perspective she learns something new about life, and she learns something new about love and emotions and what living is all about, and I kind of love that approach. I think it's incredibly interesting for a coming-of-age story to be presented like this. I think it works really well. Not to mention the directing and the cinematography is absolutely lovely. I love when a movie can just be visual, because it makes me feel like the movie respects me. It respects my intelligence, and it respects my time. If the movie was constantly saying, hey, you're a young witch, and did you know that if this guy dies, then you can become that person, and once you become the person, you're gonna take over their life, and you're gonna be knowing about their life and figuring out this and that, you don't need that. I understand when she gets somebody killed or sees somebody killed and then walks up to him and does a little thing and then walks away as someone else. I can get that. You don't need to tell me, and I appreciate that they didn't. At the end of the day, I think those pacing issues, specifically in the first half, really weighed it down for me. I found myself kind of disengaged with it at more than a couple of points, and that first 20 minutes, I actually was walking away or doing other things, and I kept pausing it because I would just kind of lose interest. I'd be disconnected from it. Maybe it would be better in a theater experience, but obviously with Sundance being all online, all I had was watching it at home, and I just did not gel or vibe with the first half of this at all. I love where it ends up, and I'd like to watch it again with the context in my brain, but as it is, I think it was fine. I think there's a lot of admirable qualities to it, and it will probably end up going up in terms of a rating going forward, but for now, I'll give it a 6. A solid 6, maybe a 7. It's enjoyable. I enjoyed it.